Hello friends, hope you all are doing good. So in this particular sessions, we are going to discuss about the persistent volume and claim. So how we can create a persistent volume and claim that volume to further utilize in the pod creations. So we are going to use it and what is the benefit of the persistence volume, why got created and how it's got created. So basically persistent volume is used to manage a storage, so any kind of a storage, and there may be a different way or different persistence volume you can tag with. You can utilize some cloud provider persistence volume as well, or you can manage it in locally also. So this particular concept of persistence volume is very important topic if we talk about the for the CKA exam. So they will ask you questions directly on these things like persistence, volume, claim, and how to utilize in the pod. Or they will create all the things in the cluster, and you have to manage the things. Means sometimes the claim is not bounded with the persistence volumes. That's why the pod it currently is not in the running state. So you have to look at all these things. You have to look into all the configurations related things like why there is no bounding between the persistence volume with the claim. That's why the pod is not in the running state. So these types of questions they may ask you in the exam. So in this particular sessions we are going to cover about what is the persistence volume, PV. The short name is PV for the persistence volume, and the PVC is for the persistence volume claim, how we are going to create it, and how to use the PVC with the pod. And this is going to be a very important topic for the CKA exam. So here are some you can say the main points that I mentioned here, that the PV for the PV and PVC both. Managing storage is a distinct problem from managing compute instance. Okay, for the compute instance, you provided all the things regarding how we can how much memory it's going to utilize, how many how you are managing the pods created, how the container will be of how much size. But for the storage, it's you have to think about that also, because when your pod is the part of replica set, the pod will dropped very frequently, and whatever the maybe the cause, you will not understand that cause if you are not storing the logs in a particular location. So pod gets destroyed very frequently, or they may be compromised with some hacking, something miscellaneous happen in your environment, and some of the pod get compromised. So you will have to split that particular pod from the part of the replica sets by using the network the policies, and you have to investigate that particular pod, if you have the already mounting type of things you already previously done with the storage. So this is very important thing, like if any pod get dropped very frequently, so you have all the log informations that you stored in a particular locations, either locally or in the cloud provider also. So a persistence volume is a piece of a storage in the cluster that has been provisioned by the administrator or dynamically provisioned using the storage class. So who will create the persistence volume? Either the developer or DevOps teams will create it, or some, if your organizations is working on a very small scale, then the DevOps team will create. But if your organization is very big, then there is a storage administrator who is responsible for creating the PV, and the developer or the DevOps teams will utilize it by creating the PVC, and then that particular PVCs will be used for creating the pod. So a persistence volume claim, PVC, is a request for a storage by a user. It is similar to a pod. Pod consumes node resources and PVC consumes PVC resources. Pods can request a specific level of resources, CPU and memory. So it's based on the requirement. So the storage administrator will create lots of PV. Some PV are fast in nature, some have the slowness, and some have the large capacity, some has the small capacity. So it's depend upon the requirement. So you can create a claim PVC as if you required a fast PVC, then it will get mounted with the fast PV. So in this way, the things work, and you can utilize it in a different way. Like you can see, if, for example, the access mode, there are several access mode, read write ones. So when you create a PV, you will find it's at RWO, and read only many ROX for the many. Similarly, we have the read write many and access mode also. So we have different criteria on which the PV created, and we can claim it accordingly to utilize in the pod creations. So while persistence volume claim allow a user to consume abstract storage resources, it is common that user need persistence volume with varying properties, such as performance for different problems. So we already discussed it that it's depend upon what types of PVC you want to utilize for the pod creations. The similar PV needs to be created by the storage administrator. So the PV thing is not a namespace thing. So you can, wherever you create or the system administrator will storage administrator will create a PV, it goes into the default. But for the PVC and the pod should be exist in a same namespace. You cannot create a PVC in the default and the pod is under the different namespace called suppose A, and you want to utilize that PVC which is under the default namespace. These types of bounding will not happen. The PVC and the pod should be exist in the same namespace, but the PV will be part of the default namespace always. It's not related with the namespace things. We will see all these things when we do a lab for this particular thing. So we will create a PV also, we will create a PVC also, and we will utilize that PVC in the pod creations also. So we are going to see all the things in the hands-on to have a better clarity. So PV, the provisioning part of the PV, there is two ways, statically or dynamically. The static part says that a cluster administrator create a number of PVs. So in the dynamically, when none of the static PV the administrator created match a user persistence volume claim, the cluster may try to dynamically provision a volume specifically, especially for the PVC. So this is the dynamical if it's not match or it's not created. So in that case, as per the setting, we have a dynamically provisions will be done for that particular PV. So this is the example of the specifications file I have for you guys, that how we can create a PV, how we create a PVC, and how to create a pod using utilizing that particular PVC. So you can see that we have a YAML file, a definitions file for the PV. So all the things as per the pod, the kind we change at a persistence volume, and this is the metadata. Under we have a name. This is the name of a PV, my PV log. It's have specifications like capacity, storage is 100 MI, and the access mode we set as a read write many. So same access mode you have to use for the PVC, because if there is any difference, then the mount will not happen. The claim will not utilizing that particular PV. So you have to be very these types of mismatch you can find in the questions, that the PV is created with some different access mode, and PVC the claim part have some different access mode. That's why the mount is not happen. So in that case, you have to modify it that particular thing, and then the pod will goes into the running state if the questions will be of similar type. So you can see that this is the host path we are using. The path is the PV log. So uh, this is the claim part, this is the PV part. So the storage will not exceed in the for the PVC. It may be minimum or it may be equal. Suppose this is the PV that we created with the name my PV log, and in the PVC we created for the 50 mi only, and the PV is for 100 mi. What about the 50 mi? Should we create a new PV and utilize that remaining PV for 50 mi? No, this is not possible, because one PV is linked with one PVC. So this is a one-to-one bonding. If you are not utilizing that particular things, then you cannot utilize it for the other PVC. But we will discuss or make another video how we can increase the size of the 50 to 100 if you previously we utilizing only 50 mi, and now as per the requirement, new requirement, we have to utilize it for the 100 mi. Then how we can exceed this particular storage, we will discuss in another video. This is possible for the time being. You just understand this is possible, we can utilize it. And in the pod creations, from till here, you already understand all the things. This is simple pod creations, and here we have a mount, volume mounts. This is the local path. So we are mounting this to the volume with a claim. This is the claim that we are utilizing for the pod creations, and this claim is utilizing this particular, or have the mounting, or have one-to-one relation with this particular PV, which is storing all the informations to this particular path. So whenever any file that you write in this particular log directory, so all the file will be moved automatically to this particular thing. So whenever the pod get destroyed, you have all the information is stored in a particular location. So this is the concept of a storage. So whenever the pod get destroyed, you have something in your storage to investigate the reason why these things happen, and which particular time, or what is the frequency, why our pods gets terminated time to time, what is the problem. So you can fix this problem, and then you can change in the deployments YAML file to make it more robust. So in these things, things you already understand by just investigating the log. And one more thing I just want to show you guys, that for the persistence volume, like we utilized here, in this particular we use the local, the host path. You can utilize these all things, like you can use the persistence volume of type EBS, Azure disk, Azure files. These are all the types of persistence volume. So this is not that you have to keep the log file locally. You can, if you want to utilize any of these particular provider be supported by the Kubernetes, you can utilize to put your log file into that particular locations. And most of the organizations not prefer to put the log into the local environment. They put all the informations to the either they are using the AWS services, they use the EBS for elastic block storage, or they use Azure. So this is upon the need, or which particular cloud provider you select to put your log file or persistence volume you want to utilize for the cloud provider. So it's completely depend upon the organizations to organizations. So just we are going to jump to do some hands-on for the PV, how to create a PVC. So we will do all the things into the lab to have a better concept, or it will help you to understand the things in a better way. So we are going to jump for the lab sessions to demonstrate the PV and PVC concepts. Okay, so as I previously mentioned that the PVC and the PVC and the pod, because we are utilizing the PVC in a pod creation, so it should be in the same namespace. Otherwise, the things will not work. The pod will not comes into the running state, or the PVC is not work properly for the pod. In the other way, you can see that. So if you run this particular query, you can see that the pods is the namespaced object. So whenever you create a pod, if you create a particular namespace, it will work for that particular namespace. You cannot access that particular pod from by using the different namespace. So this is the namespaced object, and the similar way we have the persistence volume also. The persistence volume also. So these are the namespaced things. But if you see check for the false for the persistent the namespaced item, you will find the persistence volume, because this is not a namespaced object. So this is the first thing that I just want to show you. Let's clear the screen. And for to don't waste our time in all these things, I already created all the YAML file in these particular locations. If you want to have a look, you can look into it, that the PV that we created is the same that we already discussed in the slides. That the name of my PV is my PV for log, and it have the storage of 100 MI. The access mode we set it for the read write many, and this is the path where we just do for the mounting purpose. We are utilizing this path as a host path. And what about the claim? Cat PVC. So this particular PVC is we are using the same access mode as we have in the PV, and we are utilizing only the 50 MI. And the pod. Let's clear the screen again. Cat PV, or oh, sorry, pod .yaml file. So it's have its own path slash log, and it's using the claim of PV claim log, which is bound will going to bound with the PV with utilizing the slash PV slash log path. So all things are clear. Now we are going to apply this, and we will check one item after deploying. What is the status? kubectl apply -f pv. First we are going to create pv. So it's deployed, and we didn't not provided any namespace, so all the things we are managing in the default namespace only. kubectl get pv. So we have the PV with name my PV log, have the capacity 100 MI, whatever we provided, and read write many. X is for many. Claim policy is retained, and status is available. So this particular PV is not utilized, or you can say not having any bond with any claim. So it's just fresh, and now we are going to apply a PVC, so that will utilize this particular PV. So kubectl apply PVC. So now the PVC got created. Now we are going to check again what is the status of PV. So you can see the difference now. Previously it was available, now it's get bounded. Or bounded to whom, with which claim? The claim name is also provided, and this particular claim, the PV claim, exists in which namespace? In the default namespace, because we didn't provide any namespace at the time of creating the PVC. That's why it's giving the default. Whenever we didn't provide any namespace, the things or object will be get created in the default namespace, and the object will fetch also gives the data from the default space when we are getting some object information. So what about the PVC? PVC, we have the informations like it's also get have the status mount. This is the name of the PVC. Capacity 100 mi. It's utilizing the full capacity because we provided have the access of 50, but it's utilizing all the things. The access mode, we have the RWX. So this is the PVC. Now the things is that we need to utilize it in a pod, and we already have the definitions file created. So kubectl apply. Now we are going to create a pod. So now the pod gets created. So this particular pod, it's utilizing the claim which is bounded to the PV, and the pod, the container have some path which is now mounted to the PV storage path, the host path that we configured under the /pv log. So let's monitor the status of the pod. So it's now running. Let's clear the screen. This is our pod which is currently running. Let's check the descriptions. My Nginx pod. So you can see that PVC claim it's utilizing. So the volume part is perfectly fine. So now we clear the screen, and now we are going to goes into the container and do some activity while creating any file or anything. So we will check the either the mounting is properly done or not. So all things looks fine, but better to test it as well. So kubectl get pod. This is the pod. Now we are going inside this particular pod. The name of the pod and bash, as we are using the Nginx image. Okay, we are inside it. Now we go to the /log because this is the path we set. Now, okay, so it's now created. Now we are going to create a file here. touch-alog.txt. Okay, so file is now created. Okay, this thing is done. Now come back from the container. So we exited, and now we are going to that particular path to check the linking, the mounting between the PV and the pod. So the path is pv/log. Okay, ls. So you can find that there is a file when we can, there is a file in the container, the same file we have in our local path as well. So this file don't have any text, so we are going to write some text into that file. Again, we are going to jump into the container so that we can check all the things is working perfectly fine or not. So echo, just write hello all. Okay, simple text. Okay, so we writing it into the log. Before that, we have to go to that particular locations. I forget it. Just go to that location, the log. Okay, and then do the echo. Or you can provide the path also. There is no need to jump into that particular location, then write into the file. And hello, and write into the log.txt. Just verify it. Okay, so it's appearing now. Clear the screen, exit from the container. Now go to that particular locations pv slash log ls. Now we have the file. Just look into that particular file. So you have the informations written here as well. So in case that the pod get destroyed, you have all the information. So you can mount anything like log file. In the container where the log file generated, you just mount that particular path, or any of the things that you find that is the important thing you don't want to miss. If the pod get destroyed, the same things you can mount it to your local or any cloud provider path that the persistence volume supports. So you can mount any of the path there. So in this way the persistence volume work, and the claim you can utilize that particular PV, and the particular claims will be used for the creations of the pods. So if you guys like my video, please subscribe to my channel and click on the like button as well. If you have any comments, just write down your comments. I will try to answer your questions, and share this to your friends as well. So it will benefit to the more people. Thank you.